Starting at number 10, we have gelatin. Now this is a big one. It surprised a lot of people. Gelatin is used as a stabilizing and smoothing agent in many food ingredients like jams, chocolates, and various desserts. And it also has non-food related uses for medical products as well as adhesives and other uses. Now gelatin can either be haram or halal depending on its source. This is where a lot of the confusion around gelatin comes from. And the sources that it can be derived from are plants, fish, or halal animals. One way to confirm that it is halal gelatin is to check if it's from a plant or fish or if it's synthetically produced. And there are some cases where gelatin from animals is considered to be halal, like I just mentioned. For example, if the gelatin is from beef or any other halal animal that has been slaughtered in a halal way, then that means it's permissible to be consumed. Not all gelatin comes from pigs. Number 9 brings us chocolate liquor. Yeah, I know, right? This was a shock too. How could liquor be halal? But you see, the thing is that chocolate liquor is one ingredient that has a lot of misconceptions around it. And a lot of misconceptions and confusions are around whether or not it is alcohol or not. Chocolate liquor is a name, and it's given to finely ground cocoa beans. And this is the main ingredient in chocolate that is used as a base for cookies, brownies, and different types of cakes. But does it contain alcohol? Surprisingly, no. Chocolate liquor is only the name, and I'll stress it again, it's only the name of it. And it should not be confused with chocolate liqueur, which is a flavored alcoholic drink. Number 8 brings us whey. Whey is the liquid part of milk that comes from the process of cheese making. Whey itself is halal since it is a byproduct of the cheese making process. Now the reason for the issues that arise with whey is the enzyme known as rennet used in curdling the milk. Whey can only be halal when the rennet used is from halal sources such as cows that were slaughtered according to Islamic law, as well as if it's synthetically produced or microbial sources. The food product at number 7 is vanillin. Vanillin is a flavoring made from synthetic vanilla, which is used as an alternative to vanilla extract. It can be used in several industries that include cosmetics, food production, pharmaceuticals, beverages, health, as well as personal care items. But you see, vanilla extract, on the other hand, is made by mashing and percolating vanilla beans into an alcoholic solution. That's why there is vanillin, and it's mostly used for food flavoring. So next time you find vanillin listed on the label of a dessert or any type of other food product, you can go ahead and get it because there's no alcohol in it. It's completely halal. It's not vanilla extract. Benzoic acid comes in at number 6. Now this is a preservative that helps stop the growth of yeast, bacteria, as well as mold on foods and drinks. Now it's used as an additive for preserving foods like salad dressings, pickles, soft drinks, fruit juice, as well as barbecue sauces. And it's also used in fragrances as well as artificial flavors. And one of the uses is that it's actually a pH level adjuster. Since benzoic acid is manufactured through a process that consists of chemicals, minerals, as well as synthetic based ingredients, well, it's accepted as halal. Halfway in this episode at number 5, we have vegetable glycerin. Also known as glycerol, it's used in food products as well as pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. As a food additive, glycerin has several different purposes. It's used for retaining moisture and extending product shelf life, and it gives certain products like granola bars, cookies, and candies, and ice cream a creamy texture. You can find it in canned, frozen, and processed dried fruits, and this is used to prevent them from drying out. Whether it's fruits or vegetables, it stops it from drying out. Glycerin can come from animals and plants. And animal glycerin is considered to be mashbu, meaning it is unclear if the food is halal or haram. So it's unclear whether or not animal-derived glycerin is halal or not. However, synthetic glycerin and vegetable-sourced glycerin considered completely halal. Next up, let's look at vegetable emulsifiers. Emulsifiers are used as food additives to aid admissible liquids, which are liquids that can't combine and mix together, like in the case of water and oil. And this helps it form a stable mixture. They are used in baking food products as well as salad dressings and certain snacks in order to prolong their shelf life and improve their overall taste and appearance. The most popular emulsifiers are MAG and DAG, which are considered halal when derived from plant-based sources. From there, we look at enzymes. Now, enzymes are naturally found in living organisms. They speed up specific reactions in these organisms while producing a few byproducts. Now, the food industry, of course, has taken advantage of enzymes in order to cut down on food production cost, food production time. They limit waste with this, as well as improve texture and taste, among other uses. With bioengineering, microbial enzymes as well as animal enzymes are being produced. And bioengineered enzymes are more compatible with halal food production since they are easier to control. Here's another big one. Sugar alcohol comes in at number 2. When you read the labels of sugar-free candy, you probably see certain ingredients like sorbitol and maltitol, which are a type of sugar alcohol. Now, sugar alcohols are modified carbohydrates. Now, they occur naturally in plants and are mostly manufactured from sugar and starch, and they are used in sugar substitutes in many sugar-free or low-sugar foods. They're found in chewing gums, protein bars, as well as pudding, and they're put in there in order for the food to still taste sweet without adding any sugar to them. But here's the thing, they do not contain alcohol, ethanol, but they fall into that class because, like all compounds in this class on a chemistry level, sugar alcohol contains a hydroxyl group. But they are halal and have been approved in many Muslim countries. We end this episode off with wine vinegar. Vinegars are made from a pure substance which converts into an alcoholic base. The alcoholic base within itself is haram to consume, but once it transforms into vinegar, it becomes halal. Now, why is this? Well, the making of wine vinegar involves a double fermentation process where the vinegar first undergoes fermentation into a wine-like alcoholic liquid and then turns into vinegar, which is non-alcoholic. So according to Islamic law, this process through which wine changes to vinegar is referred to as inqilab, and that means change, which makes it halal. However, if the vinegar is converted directly from a wine distillery or other alcoholic beverage companies, then it would be haram. Now, this is based on a hadith of Anas bin Malik that says, I asked the Messenger of Allah, can wine be used for vinegar? He said no. And that's found in Sahih Jami al-Tirmidhi 1294. And then there's another hadith that says, Umar said, there is nothing wrong with a man buying vinegar from the people of the book if they sell it, so long as he knows that they did not deliberately process it from wine. And that's found in Al-Mughni 8330. So that's the big thing. If it was just made into alcohol and then afterwards changed into vinegar, then no, it's haram. But if the process of making it to vinegar, there's going to be a time where it was alcoholic, but then it fully changed into non-alcoholic, then it's completely halal. Starting at number 10, we have nasi lemak. And this is from Malaysia. It's a staple dish that's made up of steamed rice, and it's made with pandan leaves and coconut cream, and it's topped with crispy fried anchovies and ground peanuts, crunchy cucumbers, as well as some spicy sweet sambal sauce. Now, there's no exact specific way that you have to make this food, but it is recommended that you can add some fried chicken. But either way, it's a very flexible dish. Coming in at number 9, we have baklava, one of my favorite desserts in the world. I literally can eat these things all day, every day. Probably not the healthiest option, but I love them. So this is a great dessert of the Turks. It's crunchy and it has kind of like a sticky texture because it's topped with honey, but it's filled with nuts and sugar syrup. The Greeks also make baklava as well, and it's popular in the Middle East too. Baklava is made with lots of layers of thin sheets of butter phyllo dough and is filled with a mixture of ground nuts as well as Arabian spices. But unlike the Greeks who use honey, this version is bound together with sugar syrup, and either rose water or orange blossom is used. Number 8 brings us to fish and chips. This, of course, is one of the top dishes in England. You can't travel there without having some classic fish and chips. And by the way, if you don't know, chips means fries in this case. That's what the British call fries, chips. This meal consists of fresh fish that is fried to perfection and tasty fries or chips if you want to call it that. But either way, how can you refuse? It's so good. Number 7 brings us falafel. This is a globally recognized Middle Eastern dish. The traditional falafel sandwich is a pita bread wrapping pickles, fresh vegetables, and tahini spread. The falafel patty is crispy on the outside when it's freshly fried with a soft and fluffy interior, and that's made of ground chickpeas, onions, and a lot of herbs and spices blended in just so it can enhance the flavor. It's very savory and completely halal. Next up at number 6, we have pho. Yes, it is pronounced pho, not pho. It's okay, I've been making this mistake all my life, and I learned recently that it's pho. It's a Vietnamese noodle soup made of broth, rice noodles, and meat such as beef or chicken. And if you're looking for halal pho while in Vietnam, you definitely have nothing to worry about. That's for sure. See what I did there? Moving on now to number 5, we have tahini. The tahini dip spread or condiment is made from a base of toasted and grounded sesame seeds, ground to a paste, and of course this is essential, if not a mandatory thing, to add to many different Middle Eastern dishes. Tahini goes well with sweet and savory flavors, and you can enjoy it with even some of the foods that have made it on this list. Now, I couldn't do this video without mentioning pad thai. Pad thai is a universal Thai dish that has given a lot more shine on Thailand as a country, and pad thai is pretty much stir-fried noodles that can be prepared according to anyone's needs. You can add almost anything to it, like tofu, bean sprouts, eggs, chicken, fish, different sauces, as well as peanuts. That's a popular ingredient that you can add in it as well. That's probably the only way I eat pad thai. If there's no peanuts in it, sure I can, but I really love throwing some of them in. Coming down to the wire in this episode, at number 3, we have pita with za'atar. This is a staple Middle Eastern dish. It's a warm pita bread that's served with nearly every single meal. What makes za'atar pitas special is that the dough is sprinkled with a blend of Middle Eastern spices, which include thyme, oregano, as well as marjoram, all to enhance the flavor of the bread. And now the original za'atar plant is endangered though, so it's protected by the government to preserve the rare and authentic Mediterranean flavors. So when you do purchase a jar of this herb, know that you are investing into something that is in limited quantities. It's going to become a lot rarer over time if it doesn't make it off the endangered herb list. Number 2, of course, I had to include hummus. It's a creamy and smooth blend of mashed chickpeas, tahini, olive oil, lemon juice, as well as garlic. Hummus is served as either a dip with the traditional pita bread and vegetables, but it also works as a spread on different things like burgers or even baked potatoes. You can even dip fruits and vegetables in hummus. It's a great condiment. Hummus is more of a staple dish though, and it is a very healthy appetizer that's found in nearly all Middle Eastern restaurants as well. So it's definitely something I say that if you haven't tried it before, 100% you need to try it because it works well with so many different foods. Now we're gonna end off this episode with shawarmas. It's a tasty bundle of everything good. It's pretty much the Arabic version of the Greek gyros. The tender meat is slow cooked on a rotisserie, and this wrap of lafa or pita bread is filled with meat together with sauces and vegetables and Arabic spices. It just makes every single bite of shawarma amazing, and it leaves you wanting more.